You are listening to the CPA Moms Podcast with Dawn Goldberg, CPA. This is episode number 71, How to Win the Battle with Busyness. Welcome to the CPA Moms Podcast, the podcast where busy female accountants who also happen to be moms like you get practical support and solutions you need to have it all, a successful career and a happy family. If you are looking for the solution to overwhelm and mom guilt, if you'd like to feel better and have more balance, as well as learn how to take back control of your life, you've come to the right place. Hey there, welcome back to this week's show. As always, I hope you had a great week. I hope you're as peaceful as possible. I just want to let you know, I don't know if you know this, but we have a private Facebook community at CPA Moms. If you are like many accountants who left public accounting and no longer have access to all of the people and the resources that are normally available, we have a community of accounting and tax professionals from multiple industries, different expertise in different sectors, all supporting each other. Just wanted you to know about that. If you haven't joined yet, and like that show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and you miss the ability to phone a friend, well, we've got you. You can get the answers that you need and connect with our community. We welcome anyone that is an accountant or tax professional that's interested in contributing your talents and maybe getting some information for yourself. The group is a closed group. We do not allow soliciting or fundraising or surveying, but other than that, we are a very, very supportive group of CPA moms just like you. So if you're interested in joining, go to facebook.com and do a search for CPA Moms Community. We would love to have you. So this week is episode number 71, and the title is How to Win the Battle with Busyness. So whether you are a working mom or not, most people identify themselves and their day based on a sliding scale of busyness. It's as if busyness has become the norm, and we use descriptors like kind of busy, super busy, crazy busy, all of these terms to delineate how busy we are and to help others understand what we are saying. And this shared language of busyness, it can be tempting to use as a badge of honor sometimes and in a way to get sympathy. For example, as a badge of honor, you might say something like, I'm super busy at work, but I'm still balancing all the balls in the air. Or maybe you use it to get sympathy by saying something like, my life is so crazy busy, I don't know if I can take it anymore. And for accountants, busyness seems like a necessary part of the job, just like it's necessary to have a computer and a calculator. An accountant who isn't describing themselves as busy is looked upon by other accountants as either lazy or basically in trouble. A typical busy day as an accountant and a mom often starts with waking up and already dreading the busy day ahead, walking into the office and getting hit with other people battling busyness, and then working through it all in order to get home to keep being busy. So it's no wonder that working moms experience burnout at such a high rate. But I'm not sure when this happened, but somewhere along the way, accountants seemed to agree to believe that busyness was a fact and that stress was the fuel necessary to get everything done. So if you believe in the formula accountant plus mom equals busyness, then I have some good news for you. I have a much better way to help you battle busyness, to feel much better, and to be more effective. The heavy weight associated with busyness for accountants and for working moms doesn't need to be just the way it is. You actually have more power than you realize to win the battle with busyness without sacrificing anything in the process. So this week I'm going to share what busyness really is, why it's a problem, and what to do instead. So let's start with what busyness really is. As an accountant and a mom, it can seem like you are just stating the facts. You are busy and you feel tired and overwhelmed. You're probably surrounded with plenty of people who think and feel the same way that you do. The important thing for you to know is that busyness is actually not a fact, even though it feels like one. And I understand that this might be challenging to believe at first, especially for working moms. But if you just give me a few minutes, let me explain, you'll realize the truth and the power of what I'm about to share. So to begin with, there is always a thought that proceeds and creates a feeling. Whether you are consciously aware of your thoughts or not, and over 80% of your thoughts are unconscious, so you're not going to be really consciously aware of them. But whether you are consciously aware or not of your thoughts, you have a thought, and then that thought creates a feeling. That's the way it works. When you describe yourself or your day as quote unquote busy or any other version of busy, you are sharing your thoughts, not a fact. And this will become clear why this is important as I share a little bit more. But for now, just know busyness is actually a thought. And when you have a thought like it's a crazy busy day, that thought will create a feeling like dread or maybe self-pity or maybe even overwhelm. When you string together enough days of frustration and overwhelm and stress, you wind up being unable to manage it all and feeling the effects of burnout. And as an accountant, you've probably normalized thoughts like, this is the busy time of year, or maybe you have the thought, once this is done, I won't be so insanely busy. Unfortunately, once thoughts like these are practiced day after day and year after year, they become the default programming in your accountant mind. And once the belief in busyness is firmly planted in your mind, you will probably find yourself waking up feeling apprehensive or feeling anxious as you check your emails and possibly feeling angry when you're asked to do something. And this is all completely normal because you are living at the effect of your default beliefs about busyness. The reason that this is important to address, and it's important to address your battle with busyness, is because it's completely within your control to win the battle. It doesn't matter how many clients you have. It doesn't matter what time of year it is or how many activities your children are involved in. You can create a much more manageable life. So now I'm going to talk about why busyness is a problem. So the problem with busyness is that it's subjective. Like, honestly, think about it. Who decides that a day is busy, right? What defines a busy day? What's the difference between super busy and insanely crazy busy? So since you now know that your thoughts about that sliding busyness scale will create a feeling, it's also important to understand that your feelings fuel your actions. So what you do and don't do is 100% driven by your feelings. So the problem is that once you've described your day as super busy, that thought will create a feeling like anxiety or stress or overwhelm. And when you feel overwhelmed, for example, you will most likely take action like complaining or maybe even procrastinating, not wanting to do anything. I'm sure you can see how that ends. You don't get as much done. You're more overwhelmed than you were before. You snap at the people around you. And let's face it, that extra glass or two of wine at the end of the day sounds really, really good. So if you were looking for a fulfilling, productive day where you completed your work with energy to spare, you unfortunately had to have missed the mark. The poisonous thought about having a super busy day actually created what you don't want. And that is the problem. When you look at your day as busy, you make it so much harder on yourself. It's like You're trying to get from point A to point B, but you just keep throwing massive, huge boulders in the way. It's exhausting and it's unnecessary. So now I'm going to talk about what you can do instead. So if you're frustrated right now and you're saying out loud, but my days are incredibly busy, you should see my schedule. Honestly, that's completely normal. You have been seeing your personal and professional life in a certain way for a long time, and you've probably got plenty of coworkers that would agree with you. If you've always believed that stress is necessary for accountants, that it's necessary to describe everything as busy, it's because you've made a connection between being busy, the feeling of stress, and getting things done. But that is not true. Your brain has just made a thought-feeling connection that you've practiced so often that it feels true for you. The secret to battling busyness that no one tells you about until now is actually watching your language. The way you describe and label anything becomes wired in your brain, making it easier and more efficient to consistently perceive things the way that you've chosen to. You may not have control over the things that you have to do, but you do have control over what you think about the things that you have to do. With some awareness and a shift in the way you choose to think, you'll be better able to manage it all. The amazing thing about your female brain is that it has this powerful filtering system that will show you proof of what you believe. So for example, this filtering system, it's the reason why you quote unquote just happen to see a lot of red cars on the road when you've decided that you are in the market for a red car. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but it's fascinating. As soon as I was in the market for I think it was a Toyota RAV4, a gray Toyota RAV4. All of a sudden, I noticed them everywhere. That's because my brain was filtering what I had decided was important, and it showed me all of the gray Toyota RAV4s. So if you keep thinking that you are super busy or insanely busy, that's exactly what your brain will show you proof of. And unfortunately, it then becomes difficult to get off the stress and overwhelm merry-go-round because what you believe will continue to feel true for you, even though it isn't serving you. So the important question that I want you to ask yourself is, if you couldn't use the word busy to describe your day or your time or even your life, how would you describe it if you couldn't use the word busy? And since we know that the sliding busy scale makes us feel dread and stress and overwhelm, what is another way to explain what you have to do or what you have done? So I'm going to give you a few examples and see if any of these resonate with you. Just different ways to describe what you have to do. So here's the first one. Today, I got to help my clients with their financial reports or statements or tax returns. The next one is, I'm going to prepare the Form 1099s for my client by the deadline. The next one, I will get my work done, take my daughter to soccer practice, and then help with homework. And the next one, I'm going to do what I can do today. Now, these statements, they don't sound very dramatic, do they? But that's exactly the point. Unfortunately, your female brain, and I know mine is too, is a bit of a drama queen. It often sees things in a very dramatic fashion, but it's programmed that way. It's programmed to protect you. It's naturally programmed to see everything as dangerous for your survival, especially when you've thought the same way for a very long time. That is what it's going to see. By learning to watch your language and remove the drama from the way that you describe things, you will actually feel much better, which will result in you doing much better. Choosing less dramatic language will begin to reprogram your brain to not automatically think busyness is normal. The truth is that we all have things to do for work and for our families. In order to win the battle of busyness, you just need to start choosing thoughts on purpose that give you a feeling other than stress, overwhelm, and dread. So you may have a Google Calendar that's full of things like I do that need to get done, but how you show up personally and professionally is 100% within your control, no matter what is on that calendar. In order to be at your best, you need to become aware of how you describe things and start telling a different story. When you decide to tell a different story, you naturally will get a different ending. That is how to win the battle with busyness, how to feel better no matter what's on your plate, and how to get more done with more energy. So in summary, somewhere along the way, accountants seemed to believe that busyness was a fact and that stress was the fuel necessary to get everything done. The important thing for you to know is that busyness is not a fact, even though it feels like one. When you describe yourself or your day as busy, you are sharing your thoughts, not a fact. The problem with busyness is that it's subjective. The secret to battling busyness is watching your language. The way you describe and label anything becomes wired in your brain, making it easier and more efficient to consistently perceive things the way you've chosen to. And finally, in order to win the battle of busyness, you just need to start choosing thoughts on purpose that give you a feeling other than stress, overwhelm, and dread. So there we have it. That was episode number 71, How to Win the Battle with Busyness. Did I tell you that I have been in public accounting for over 30 years? And I'm going to say about 25 of those years, I definitely bought into that stress was fuel, that stress was necessary, that everything was busy, crazy busy. I was definitely all on the busyness scale. And I guess it was about 5 years ago, everything changed for me when I learned how to manage my mind, how to manage my thoughts, and how to manage my feelings. And I would have to say that I've had the best tax seasons in public accounting the last 5 years. And it's really not as crazy or insanely busy, even though I probably am working more hours now than I ever have, but I probably feel the least amount of stress than I ever have. So I hope this was really helpful. I hope that you try some of the things that I had suggested. And please head on over to Facebook and check out our CPA Moms community. We would love to have you join us. Until next week, have a great week, and I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like what you heard, be sure to click subscribe on your podcast app so you never miss an episode. At CPA Moms, we pride ourselves on being the e-harmony of the accounting world, making it possible for business owners to have their accounting needs met by amazing CPAs that are moms just like you. Whether you are an accountant interested in growing your own solo mompreneur business, or perhaps you are looking for flexibility to work from home, or maybe you are looking to grow your current firm or team, CPA Moms has what you are looking for. Check us out at cpa-moms.com.